I'm a designer. I'm an industrial designer from NID. I started my career working in deep remote Chhattisgarh as I went and worked in villages for 2 years. And when I went on Government of India projects, which is why this collective action thing, a lot of what I've done in my life is because the Government of India paid for it. They can penetrate where nobody else can go, right? And I was told by the government officer that you will go to this remote village which doesn't have a road, which has nothing. How will you eat your lunch? And he said, carry a kg of rice and a kg of dal in the beginning of the month, because they are so poor, they can't even feed you. And that's exactly what I did. And I worked in this mud hut, and that is the only thing that drives me on till today. That is, for me, I need to build a platform where all those people can just log on, and just get on and do what they have to do. India has the world's largest population of artisanal workers. We have 60 million plus, and these are census numbers. We have 2% global market share. So IKEA is buying, Carrefour is buying, the world's consumers are buying, but India is not selling. So it's going from China, yeah? Or, by the way, China has killed its handicraft and handloom industry. It's dead, right? We still have 60 million people, yeah? Here there are some numbers on women, because we work with women whom we aggregate in self-help groups, whom we then aggregate into producer-owned companies. So our focus is very much women. Mission Creative Million is about impacting 1 million women in a self-owned value chain over the next 10 years. It's to be the Amul of creative manufacturing. We call it creative manufacturing because Indian government has always sort of had a very non-scalable view of handicrafts and handlooms. But we know, I can see the number of women in this room who are wearing handloom, yeah, who are wearing and who use handicraft. So there's a phenomenal market. It's just a question of how to tap it. This, we believe, is our differentiating factor. The fact that we are thinking scale, that's a very, very differentiating factor about us. Because we believe what we want to do will only happen at scale. Verghese Kurian, when he built out Amul, built it on scale. He raised 400 crores of philanthropic capital 60 years back or 40 years back. That's what he did. And he built a scalable model. So we think scale, we think self-owned value chain. This should be 100% owned by producers. Professional management layer. All this is not going to miraculously happen. I'm a designer. I can't run my own company. I have professionals to run it. So we believe that producers must own, but they must get state-of-the-art professional services. And, of course, the single digital platform that connects the million to each other and to customers. There is a phone ringing here. Yeah, sorry. Another, I would like to add 2 more differentiating things here, which haven't come on this slide. One is self-sustainability. So yes, to build Creative Million, we need to raise 100 crores in the next 5 years. But after that, it will just revolve on its own, it'll stand on its own feet. The revenues that it generates will pay for the professional layer that will handhold it. Very much like Amul today. It's completely self-sustainable. So no more donor funding required after the first 5 years. And the last thing I want to mention here is partnerships. I really believe, someone I think in the morning said that NGOs don't like to talk to each other. But I do believe that this is going to happen with very, very strong partnerships. With very, very, I would say, Gurangutan, like, I don't know if I've pronounced that right, organizations like SEVA, organizations like All India Craft Workers Association, Fair Trade Forum India, and we all need to do this together. Now, Industree's threefold approach is, like we said, inclusive enterprises. There's a lot of talk about entrepreneurship in this room since the morning. So we are talking a lot with NSDC. We have a skill development company with NSDC where we do nothing much at all, because after we train those women, where are they going to find work? Because they're all in the informal space. So we've sort of stalled the training till we build this platform out, because after we train a woman, she needs to get work. and she's in the self-employed space, she's in the informal space. But if she needs to be globally competitive, if she needs to compete with a product from China, she needs the advantages of scale, of aggregation. That's what the whole model is built on. So entrepreneurship cannot be constantly defined as a single entrepreneur. So we are really talking about redefining the term entrepreneurship, and we call it inclusive entrepreneurship. So we are saying, not we, there are, I think, many leading minds, Shankar Venkateshwaram from Venkateshwaram actually put this out, that inclusive entrepreneurship is producer-owned institutions. So with NSDC, we are talking to them, how will you support inclusive entrepreneurship? That is group aggregated entrepreneurship. Why this emphasis on group aggregation? Why this emphasis on, it's because of traceability. When I build an entrepreneur, I don't know what he's paying the 10 women he or she employ. I've had this experience in my life. So the entrepreneur could just be getting richer, but I have no traceability. That is the person working with him or her getting minimum wage. So that's why group entrepreneurship, that's why this thing to build producer companies, that's why to build traceability, because they need to get access to social security. And when we talk about moving from informal to formal, this is what it means. That they get above minimum wage, they get social security. And so we think we have the solution for this. Yeah? So what we've done so far is we've trained 30,000 producers. We've got 2,000 creative producers within 2 producer companies, which do $2 million of revenue. They supply to IKEA, Habitat, Carrefour. They are globally compliant. They supply to Indian brands like Fab India, Mother Earth, right? And they have generated about $1 million of wages over the last 3 years to the women. Now, this is the proof of concept. These 2 producer companies, Bangalore Greencraft, Ekta. I wish I'd brought, I really love the idea of having these wonderful women here from Seva, having Meghraj here, so next time but what happens within the producer companies is that in our apparel producer company in Bangalore, we have 10 graduates. There are 10 women who are BA pass, but they are doing tailoring because they can't get a job. So they all have upward mobility. They all can move upward from a tailor to a supervisory position, to getting onto tally, doing accounts, because these companies are there. So they're upwardly mobile, right? Now, how will our idea be scaled? Our idea is going to be scaled on professional management, multiple stakeholder approach. We already have funding raised from Mindtree. We've got Prashant Mehra here, who's doing some excellent work with us on building out the platform. We've already got partnerships with Sonata, SVP, Grassroots, and Womanity. For the first state, we've already got a partnership going with UNDP and the British Asian Trust and NSDC. We plan to work only in 4 value chains, which is apparel, handloom, and natural fibers, and leather, bamboo, etc. The portal that is being built out for them is called Hasti, and it's a B2B platform, right? Because we really believe, take these conference bags, for example. You just log on to the B2B platform, just place the order. You will get supply from a transparent supply chain. You will know at the end of it how much of the purchase of this conference bag of 300 rupees went into the hands of the person who made it. That's the kind of value chain we're building out. Okay, this is important.
Can you move to what you need, please?
Yes, okay. Yeah. So we need to raise about 100 crores. Our this year's budget is 7 crores. We've already raised that. The 5 states we are looking at, we have partnerships with the World Bank for Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan. We are looking at a partnership with the Smart Power project in UP, with the Rockefeller Foundation, that's still in progress. And in Orissa, we are working with the Japan Cooperation Agency. So with every state, we start with an anchor partner, and then we look for other partners to add on the other chunks. So this is the 6C model, which is we do capacity, connect, channel, create, capital, right? So each partner can plug in for all the things. That's it. I crossed my time and I have finished.
What more do you need?
And the impact, sorry, the last three things. So we are aligned with the SDGs. So we focus on gender equality, decent work and economic growth, and responsible consumption and production. Because when we want to go to global supply chains, so our producer groups and the good supply to an H&M, to a Zara, 40% of the global customer is wanting sustainable fashion. So sustainable fashion is not just about environmental sustainability. It's also about social sustainability. How much are they earning? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Questions?
You anyway guide them to e-commerce platforms for getting their products out?
Yes, we are already in talks with Amazon. So they have a special channel and they will also be able to give them, buy from them without, paying them in advance to buy from them. Because it's all about capital at the end of the day. The whole manufacturing supply industry in fashion and home accessories is dependent on goods on consignment, which these people can't do because they don't have the capital.
Actually, I did have a question on one of the comments you made, which is, in fact, especially since my friends Jingjing is here from SVP China, because you mentioned that China is getting out of the artisan mode. But I mean, there is data to prove that 40% of Banarasi silk saris are now made in China. So how do you reconcile those two?
No, they're all made on the Palloom. So which is why it's so important to build out traceable value chains.
Okay.
Because I believe the customer in future, see, we are building a model for the customer 20 years from now. So one has to look at that. How are the millennials today going to buy tomorrow? Today the millennials in Europe are saying we want 40% traceability. 40% of them are saying we want traceability. So what are the kids going to say 10 years from now? They're going to really question, who are we buying from? What are we buying for? So that's where India really needs to get in and introspect. And this is a very low carbon footprint form of production. It creates a lot of employment at local level. If you look at some of the partners in the room, hand in hand and rope. So you get into apparel, you get into fashion. It's a huge consumption industry.
Great, thanks. Bill? Yeah.
Just one comment or suggestion is, are you working with other industry groups and or government to create some form of authenticity around something that has a traceable supply chain, is not actually made on a power loom, is truly made?
Yeah, so that will come out through the platform. So when you buy a product on the platform, you will get an SMS.
No, I understand about your value. I'm talking about working with others. Repeat the question.
Yeah.
My suggestion is, can you work across the industry, particularly having some form of true authenticity for everybody that makes things that come out of a handmade artisanal space?
Yes.
And that way the consumers can recognize that brand means artisanal with certainty.
Yes. So we are in talks with the Ministry of Textiles. They already have a handloom mark. They already have a silk mark. There are many marks. But yeah.
So you're saying that at some point you could lead that consortium to make that handloom mark or?
They exist.
Okay.
They exist. I mean, they exist. It's just a question of the customer wanting to respect that and buy that. And how does that happen? Yeah. Yes, you got to build the brand. You got to build the brand. And how will the brand be built? After you buy the sari, you get the SMS which tells you this came from Sheila and the money you paid for it, educated 2 children or something. You got to give the story. It's about storytelling.
Okay. Yeah, Govind, last question.
Yeah, Neelam, the question was that, the Create a Million plan, besides capital, what will hold it back from delivering on its mission? Are there 10 other Neelams in the organization? Or?
Yep. Okay. I would say I'm standing here today because there are at least 4 Neelams at work at the back. And they are, I think, far better than Neelam. Definitely. Yeah. And I have one of the leading retail chains CEOs saying, I'm going to join like in 3 months. And I will come in at 1/3 my salary. And which is where I again believe that the SVP movement is incredible. Because it's about people who've reached where they have, excel in their work, now want to give back, but want to be in a position where they will make substantial change. So.
Thank you, Neelam. You've given us the mission statement for SVP partners.